is streaming. Great. All right. So let's see if we're up and running everywhere. It looks like it. So it's Friday. It's May 22nd. And what a wonderful time to be alive. There we go. Hello everyone. My name is Rasmus from Componental, and we are live here from the Componental headquarters. And we have a couple of updates for you. I'm looking up and down and here and there because there's a bunch of screens going on with things. But as usual, we're live on Discord where you can join the chat. We are also live on Instagram and on YouTube, and sometimes also on LinkedIn whenever the automation and connection they work. So if you want to join and take a part of the discussion, we want to invite you to our Discord server, and you can join that through our website. If you are tuning in from Instagram, there should also be a link directly on Instagram, which will show you how to get into the server. And it's very, very nice to see the audience. So the amount of people on our server has grown quite a lot in the last days. And we were at Superbooth earlier in May, which is a very, very cool place to be. It's a synthesizer conference and festival, and there's everything from Korg and Roland and Yamaha to Ableton to Bjux, who makes these beautiful coffee books, another Danish producer of nice and cool things. And then there's us from Componental, so small, medium-sized teams. And then there's like the solo inventors who are presenting their latest and greatest prototypes straight out of the laboratory. So there's everything from high to low and from wide to small. And it's a great pleasure to be there. We've been there for 3 years with Componental and with Dubby. And I just want to show you just for fun and for a bit of nostalgia that this was the version that we were at the Superbooth with for the first time. And it's a while ago. So for those of you on Instagram, maybe you can't see the whole thing, but this was the version of Dubby that it looked like for quite some time. And the way that we did it here was that we had everything sandwiched in between two full layers, and then we had these corner pieces holding everything together. Nice and neat. It was a nice design, and we were testing out a bunch of ideas that this design would allow us to do. But one of the things that this design really complicated was fast switching of the side panels. So we had to find another way to make this design make the side panel switching easier. And that design we have been testing that design we've been testing and validating for quite some time now. And what I want to show you is the version of Dubby that we presented at Superbooth this year. So this is our 10th revision of the Dubby hardware. Yeah, 10 times we have redone what is inside of Dubby, not completely, but 10 times we have been upgrading, testing, upgrading, testing, upgrading, testing, upgrading, and testing. And this year now is very much how it's going to be in the final version. And instead of having it like this sandwich with a flat panel, instead we made it so that it's a clamshell. So it goes forward and then there is a bend, and this gives it a lot of mechanical stability. And also we improved the whole way that the box is now assembled, and this allows you to change out the side panels just with 2 screws, and the whole box does not come apart. And that was one of the challenges with the earlier design, that the whole box actually came apart when when you had to change the side panel. So this is such a nice upgrade. Additionally, we added this barrel connector now, so you can power Dubby with a 9 to 12 volt barrel connector. And you just plug it in, you turn it on, and lo and behold, your Dubby comes alive. And also now, we have a much improved screen protector going on. We have 5 RGB fully assignable LEDs that you can use in your programming, and the algorithms already come pre-programmed with some of these things, but it's quite nice to have some powerful and easy visual representation of something in the algorithm that you are using. And one of the first comments we often get when people see these LEDs is like, oh my gosh, my retinas are melting away. And to alleviate that, we of course made it so that you can go in, and in the hardware settings, you can go to the LEDs, and first of all, you can choose the color if you want to change the color. That's quite nifty. Or you can go and you can change the brightness to 1 out of 5, or just turn it off completely. So again, this is all up to you how you want to set up Dubby. So if you need a lot of light, if you're performing outside, having 2 weak light sources is very problematic. And if you're in the dark and you want to make sure that maybe you don't get the ghost glare with lights from above up into your face, then you can go and you can turn down the LED brightness. Just a nice and nifty thing. So this is all great. And you might be thinking now, why don't I have the Dubbies then if you're this far with your development? And there's one quite particular reason for that. And we wrote out about this in the update that we do on Kickstarter. And the problem was that the supplier of the case and the knobs, unfortunately, they were not able to make them according to the specs that we wished for, because all of these parts are custom parts. And we didn't know until we received the components and put everything together. So right now we are in very good dialogue with other manufacturers who can produce the case. So this is different than the PCB, all the electronics that are inside Dubby. This is a different thing. Of course, they need to go together and fit and work, but the problem was that it didn't. But fortunately, it's looking quite well with the new manufacturers that we are in dialogue in, and we are very excited to keep you updated about what's going on. There was another thing we also found out, because the units that we brought to Superbooth were kind of like a test of the production line. So we were testing the manufacturers were making the knobs and the case and the screen protector and all of this stuff, and we were also testing out how the final hardware PCB design was. And there was one crucial thing that we found out, and it's just one of those things you can't really figure out until you do a production run and then you test it. And we were a bit too eager with the power delivery. So when you power the Dubby on, power needs to go out to a lot of different circuits on the board. And if this power delivery is not very time constrained and sourced properly and all that, then some things might not work accordingly. So we found out that we had to make a bit of like delays on the cascade of the power distribution, which made Dubby unstable when you were powering it by USB-C. That is not a problem anymore. We have tested and validated this design, and we have made it work perfectly now, which is great, because we want it to be in the way that you can power Dubby either with the barrel connector, the one that I showed earlier up here, and we also wanted to be able to power it through just regular USB-C, 1 amp, 5 volts. And this is working now, and it's great. There's one more addition to this circuit, which made it a bit of a headache, but it's not a headache anymore. And the thing is that Dubby can be a USB host device. But in order to be a USB host device, you need to have enough power to send to the clients that are connecting to you. And this is where the barrel connector comes in handy, because you need to power Dubby with the barrel connector in order for it to act as a USB host device, so that it can properly power the devices that you have connected to it. And that's where we're at right now. So again, I can't give a final date on when things are gonna be shipped out once we're gonna send out the first units. We need to lock down the new supplier of these components to the case. We're very excited about the new partnerships that we're starting up. It's one of the bumps you hit on the road when you are new and you're figuring out who are your partners, who are the people that you are going to be working together with to realize this, because it's a collaboration effort that makes this work. We need to send the proper design files that fits their machines. They need to be able to understand our wishes and dreams and process, and we both need to be on the same page of what are the margins which are tolerable, acceptable, and all of this. And it's only something you can figure out once you start working together with the entities that you invite in to be part of your dream. So yeah, the dream goes on. The Dubbies are here. We have new algorithms also that we were testing at Superbooth, a very exciting kind of granular delay that goes into a freeze reverb called freeze dance, which is very beautiful to making textures and kind of like risers to your music, and also like for live performance if you want to just take things a bit into outer space without glitching it up like crazy. That's really great. There's been a ton of updates to Gen to Dubby. So when you develop in Max Gen and taking your patches from your Gen computer environment and then putting it directly on to Dubby, this workflow is more or less fully functional. There's still a couple of things that we're working on scripting-wise to make it easier for you, which is like correct parameter mapping. It's a bit of a long string you need to put in order to make Dubby pre-mapped with hardware with like the correct short name and long name and minimum value, maximum value, and then the curvature, like the exponent you want to have on your knob, if it should be linear, logarithmic, or exponential. So all of this stuff you can actually predefine in your Gen patch already now, which means when you flash it onto the device, it just looks great. It feels like a native piece of software that is developed for Dubby with all the nice functionalities of libdubby, which is the GUI, the hardware control, and the LFOs and everything that is running on the device independent of what type of algorithm that you have selected. Another very cool thing we got tested on Superbooth was this quick flashing of algorithms from the SD card. So in the front we have a SD card reader and writer. Right now we also have this volume knob, and here's the volume output. Here's a very nifty shift button, and this shift button here, it will very easily take you, so independent of where you are, if I open up the menu and just go somewhere into the LFO page, if I quickly go into the LFO page, oh, I think the shift button's held on, great. And then if I quickly want to jump back to my performance page, I can just press the shift button and I'm back. And this will, on a secondary push, take you to the mixer page. So these two views are probably the most informative views when you are dealing with real-time audio. So what are my parameters up to, and what audio is coming in and what audio is going out. Also, the mixing matrix was really nice to have tested on like in at Superbooth in the hands of real people testing this out, maybe for the first or the second time. And it was very cool to see that we could just very easily map things to the headphone input, or sorry, to the headphone amplifier output, if we wanted to have different mixes. It was quite cool. We had a computer with a 4-channel sound card just routed directly into one Dubby, and it was easy to just send 4 channels of audio into Dubby and then have an effect running on inputs 1 and 2, and then just having like the rest of the audio bussed to output 3 and 4, and then we could do crazy effects on input 1 and 2, sum everything, and then just got one mixed output into the headphones. It was very cool to just have a computer, a small 4-channel sound card, and be able to kind of do like live dubbing on the device just with that on the go. So yeah, that's one of the really good things about being at Superbooth. First and foremost, like the best thing about being there is meeting all of you. We met quite a few backers there, people who have been following the project now actually for years, and coming and seeing the development and giving high fives to us and the team and just saying that, oh, it's so great that you're continuing. It's so cool to see all the progress. Thank you for the updates and for making this device that I have been dreaming about for so long. It's such a pleasure, and it really gives a massive energy and a morality boost to the whole team. So one thing is to get actual concrete feedback on your software and hardware or on your ideas, but even more important, I would say, it is just to meet everyone who is seeing this and experiencing this and trying it, and also believing in what you're doing. It is like monumental. And if you haven't been to Superbooth and you're into this kind of stuff, which I allow myself to assume, then you should really check it out. It's worth going a trip to Germany to do this. It happens in Berlin every year in the first half of May. It's around May 10, 12, 13, something like that. And if you do come by, let us know. It's great, and we really get to touch base with both users and customers and backers and collaborators. And yeah, one other very important update about Superbooth is that we finally got to give a device to Dreamer from Wasted Audio, and he is the maintainer of the Heavy compiler and is a big he's a big force in the whole Pure Data environment. So the first kind of like big push towards getting Pure Data working has been taken now. It's way too early to say anything about how it goes, how long it'll take, but the good thing is that the right things are in the right hands right now, and there's a lot of good intention and energy going towards enabling PD to work with Dubby. So stay tuned on that. What else? Yes, we have to say a big thank you to Matt Moldover of like controllerism.com and the musical superhero, something like that. An old friend of ours who came all the way from the US to visit Superbooth for the first time. And he got to play around with a prototype of Dubby, and he made a small performance that he showed at Superbooth. And then we also had a Q&A regarding building custom controllers and kind of like what Moldover does and what Dubby can do and how he kind of sees it works and fits into someone who is actively making music and performing with like cutting edge music technology. So that was great, and a big thank you to Matt for doing this. We got some audio and video recorded of it, and once we're done editing it, we will put it up on our YouTube channel and maybe also something on Instagram. So do stay tuned about that. Great. So again, everyone, thanks for watching and for tuning in. I don't really see any messages. I see that Trey says hi. Always good to see you online, Trey. Big up. And I will check in to my DMs for sure. Any demos from the event? Oh, Pimenta, hey, good to see you online. What's up, Jervis? What up? I wasn't checking in on Instagram. Yes, we do have new demos coming up. We tried to record some live demos at Super Booth, and we'll have to go through the material to see if it's good enough to share. But irregardless of that, we will be making new demos of free stands and some of the other new cool algorithms that have been made to Super Booth. So yeah, once again, just stay tuned. It's so great to have you there. We're very excited for things to come. This summer will reveal it all. Keep your fingers crossed for us locking down the correct, the right, the best manufacturing partner. And yeah, we look forward to keeping you updated. And I must say, having this latest version of Dubby in my hands and running King Dubby, the kind of like the first algorithm that we made to test out the capabilities of Dubby, it was it was a really cool experience. So I can't wait until you try to get the same experience. Just picking the algorithm that you want, putting it on the device, or just loading it straight from the SD card. It's just it really feels like freedom in a box, to be honest, that you can take your creative ideas, put them into programming, put them on the device, or you can just go, I want a crazy reverb today, and then you go and you pick that crazy reverb. It's very nice. And of course, you just map it to the style that fits you. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. A lot of good things to come. Håll på tummen, as they say in Sweden. Hold your thumb or cross your fingers or whatever you do to make the spirits light and gentle. We'll see you online again in 2 weeks. And yeah, don't be a stranger. Jump on the Discord. That's where we keep the ball rolling. Peace.